Hello and welcome back. Eddie Radosovich, George Stoy here from the SoonerScoop.com studios. Welcome back to the SoonerScoop.com YouTube channel and a bye week for everybody. A little bit weird going throughout the week and kind of knowing that there's only 2 games left in the season, but you have this bye week. Oklahoma State has a bye week as well. It's probably good for both these state teams that do have the bye weeks this weekend. But yeah. Here we are, and obviously talk to you guys on Tuesday. Make sure you check out the Unofficial 40. A lot of news coming out of the Board of Regents meeting on Tuesday as well. And, you know, I think that's kind of where things lie right now. Obviously, Brent Venables be coming back, or we expect him to come back for 2025. It's all about the offensive coordinator and everything with the search that is about to commence, it feels like, and it might have already started. Make sure you check out SoonerScoop.com. Obviously, we're going to be tracking that as the season winds down. Bunch of college hoops as well, but here we are, George, and we'll see. Obviously, we talked to Danny Stutzman. He's going to be a part of that senior group that goes through their final game down at the stadium on Saturday, or I guess a week from Saturday when Alabama rolls into town. It's going to be kind of cold, a little chilly.
It's going to be very cold.
But, I guess this is what it is. It kind of is what it is, right?
Yeah.
I mean, damn, F. I was going to just put the F word out there, but it is what it is. It sucks. This is a shitty situation for everybody involved, just in terms of the way the seasons went. And then obviously having to show up to a bye week and talk to some of the players about basically defending their head coach and why they still believe in a vision of what he's trying to build here in Norman.
Yeah, definitely last night, a lot of those questions about Brent and not just Brent, but kind of the direction of the program in these last 2 games. And when you look at these last 2 games, obviously a lot of people don't think they can win them. But, what do you have to play for? Whether it's a senior or you're a young guy trying to prove that you deserve more playing time maybe next year or whatever it is, I think that was really interesting last night. And then just the support for Brent, because I do think that one thing that you've seen with this team, as bad as it's been this year, I don't think guys have quit.
No.
And I think that they're still bought into the program. They believe in Brent's message. A lot of these guys obviously have either stuck it out or come to Oklahoma. At this point, almost everybody on the roster except for 5 guys have come to Oklahoma to play for Brent Venables and this staff. And so, you look at those 5 guys that have stuck it out, a guy like Danny Stutzman, Billy Bowman, Ethan Downs, Jalil Farouk, and Woody Washington. Like those guys, I think these last 2 games mean a lot to them. And I think we'll get to talk to several of those guys next week. But just hearing from Danny, it doesn't seem like as emotional and as tough as that loss was this last week on Saturday against Missouri, I think you can count on Danny and those guys playing hard till the end.
Sure. Nobody knows Brent Venables probably better that's been here in Norman at OU than Danny Stutzman. And I thought he gave a pretty eloquent, I guess eloquent would be the right way to say it, kind of speech to the fans. You asked him, for the people that are out there, and there's a bunch of you out there that believe Brent shouldn't be coming back for 2025. What's kind of the message, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think that Danny's kind of been the poster child, right, for the Brent Venables era. Everything that Brent has stood for, Danny's kind of represented, whether it's just his growth and development as a player. You've seen that in the way that Brent's been able to help him become, this elite linebacker that he is. And then just the leadership, too, and the buy-in and everything that goes into the quote-unquote standard that Brent talks about. Now, it hasn't resulted to wins on the field necessarily during, Danny's years here, but I do think that he's a representation of what they hope to build. And you've seen it on that side of the ball. You got to get it going on the other side of the ball. But I do think Danny is somebody that can speak to what Brent's done for this program, what the vision is, right? Because I think Danny's kind of fulfilled that vision in terms of an individual player and the growth that he's shown as a player and a person. I mean, we remember a few years ago Danny kind of being the goofy guy.
Yeah.
Is it ever going to click for him?
I remember talking about it after the, I believe it was the Russell Athletic Bowl, and just kind of, or not Russell Athletic, Cheez-It Bowl maybe. And, is the light ever going to turn on for somebody that's supposed to be this leader? And I don't think that there's any question here, as they've kind of gone through the peaks and valleys of a season, which they've been in the valley quite a bit. Danny he's been the guy that stands up there, asks why, his teammates aren't playing well. He's had to answer questions about Brent Venables, about his future as in terms of a program, and here it is on Tuesday night. We asked, Danny Stutzman. George asked him about just, kind of where things are at with the program, the trajectory of the program under Brent Venables, as well as we hear from Jacoby Johnson, because it's kind of interesting when you talk about these, the times
guy
that we live in, right?
Yeah.
And they know that's out there. They know everything that we've been saying and everybody else out on the outside of the program, as much as they say, focus on the main thing and don't get on social media. It's a part of everybody's life, right?
Yeah, they see it. They see all of it.
Yeah. Here it is. Danny Stutzman, Jacoby Johnson talking about their head coach, Brent Venables.
Danny, you're obviously somebody that bought into this program the moment Brent got here. When a season goes like this, fans and people, us, are going to be critical of him and the direction of this thing. What would you maybe say to people that may be wavering in their faith of the direction of this thing under Brent right now?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, I have no doubt. The people here, the staff has no doubt. You guys talk to the president, there's no doubt. So obviously, there's something right that Coach Venables does where everyone that's close around him and sees him every day, they have they have unwavering faith in Coach Venables.
I feel like we're stuck together as a team. I feel like it's been like that. We're a big family. That's something that I figured out real quick when I first got here, is that this team is family. So we're still together. We're still working together as a team, and we're just trying to, just go up from there.
Is that frustrating for you guys as players to hear the outside noise? I know as much as you guys say you don't listen. Is it hard to not hear that stuff?
I mean, a little bit. I got like a talent. I can dig in the trash and not get dirty.
Sure.
I heard Coach Davis say it the other day, so I like that. Because it doesn't really affect me. I've done this for a while. At the end of the day, it's just words. I think it kind of motivates me if anything. Just when something like that happens, just overall in general.
I wouldn't say it's hard because Coach V preaches all the time about that stuff. It's like, you can't listen to that. Like we're at the end of the day, we're still humans. We're football players in college, so like you can't listen to that stuff. A lot of the guys I know don't even really get on media like that. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of how we deal with that.
Is it tough to hear people talk about Coach Venables and your position coaches and everybody else in a negative light, like it has been here over the last couple of weeks, more recently in the last week?
It can get crazy at times, but like I said earlier, you can't listen to that stuff. It's just how it is, bro. But like I said, you can't listen to it. Just got it in one ear out the other.
I'm sure
Eddie asking
it's
the tough questions.
Well, I had to. These people out in the comment sections. It is what it is, brah. It's kind of awkward.
Well,
Obviously,
it sucks. I think one thing that we should say, Eddie, as reporters and people covering the team, these type of questions suck to have to ask, right?
Sure.
Because these guys are kids that, I guess, young adults, that come here and have the dream of playing for OU and competing for championships, and everything's going to be great, and you're not going to lose the games that they've lost this year. And to then be asked these type of questions, I'm sure they don't want to answer them either. They got to be asked in some fashion, right? Because you want to hear that belief, and you put them in a tough spot. But, I think that those guys handle it extremely well. And I think that, one thing we can say about the players, at least that since I've been covering the team, they're all very well spoken. They're all very bought into what Venables and the staff is preaching. And so, I think that there's a lot of us rooting for these guys. Like, we're going to be Danny Stutzman's fans for life,
sure.
Right? When he goes to the NFL, we were talking about that last night, where he might end up, and him playing Jacoby Johnson too, local kid. Like, we're going to be rooting for these guys. And so it sucks to have to go out there and ask those type of questions.
Might cry on senior day. I don't know.
Yeah,
Haven't decided yet. It is going to be sad, though, because I think that that fivesome, and we'll talk about it a lot more next week when the week comes with Alabama coming to town, but it is kind of like an end of an era, if you will. And I think that as we get out of, and especially for somebody like Danny or Billy Bowman that have played so much, and Ethan Downs, all of them have played, I guess, to a certain extent. We'll see what happens with Jalil Farouk if he's going to be coming back for 2025. Obviously has that option. But, for the four that are seeing the end of a career, it certainly hasn't probably gone how they thought it was going to go when they signed the national letter of intent. But if they can get through this patch, I think that, the revisionist history will be, damn, those guys were super, super important for keeping this thing together.
That, and just, I think their loyalty to the program.
Sure.
That means something in today's college football world, where these guys could have jumped. They had multiple opportunities to either jump in the portal or go to the NFL. Yeah. You think about when Lincoln Riley left, I mean, you talk about a guy like Jalil Farouk. He's had 3 different receiver coaches, and he's decided to stick it out. Heck, he might be back next year and have, I think, what would that be, his 4th or 5th different offensive coordinator in 5 years at Oklahoma. You talk about a guy like Billy Bowman and Danny Stutzman, 2 guys that have really been pillars for the Brent Venables era. They could have left early last year, right? Those guys could have gotten drafted a year ago, wanted to come back, and yes, the season hasn't gone the way they wanted it to, but I do believe them when they say they have 0 regrets. Like they want to see this thing through, and that's what I think these next 2 weeks, while us as the media and fans out there fully believe they don't have a whole lot of chance of winning one of these games, I'm sure they don't believe that, 1, and 2, they're going to play with a lot of pride because, it does mean something to a Danny Stutzman that this is his last game to ever play on that field. That means something to these guys.
I'm sure that there's a lot of people going, well, what the F do they have to play for? And we'll get to that here in a second. But first, let's tell you about PrizePicks. Very simple to use. Obviously, we've been talking about it all season. Play $5, put $5 in, you get $50 instantly. Use the promo code, as you see there on the screen, Sooner Scoop, for $50 instantly if you're playing. All you got to do is put in $5. Now, what you're going to have to do, just go download PrizePicks, the app. Extremely easy to use. As I said, we've been talking about it all season. Or go to the website, PrizePicks.com, and use the promo code SoonerScoop to get $50 instantly. George, what's the play this week?
Yeah, I've got Shadur Sanders at Colorado over 1.5 passing touchdowns against Utah. I know Utah's defense is pretty good.
Around 12-point underdogs. Obviously, has the quarterback situation. Maybe they keep it close though.
Yeah, I like Shadur Sanders though. He's been throwing the ball all over the yard.
Maybe they won't keep it close.
Yeah, and then I've got Chandler Morris, former Oklahoma quarterback, over 19.5 rushing yards for North Texas. He's having a big year for the Mean Green.
Huge year. Eric Morris has had a really big year for the Mean Green as well, even though they got beat by Army last week. Really good story on Eric Morris and kind of his affiliation, and it might kind of center back to some of the Oklahoma stuff with Ben Arbuckle and John Mateer. Max Olson, though, had a really good article about that today in the paper, in the ESPN.com. It could have been in the paper.
Old man.
Nobody takes it yet. All you got to do, though, PrizePicks, get $5 or put $5 in, get $50 instantly using the promo code SoonerScoop. George, there will be a lot of people, I'm sure, in the comment section. I'm sure on the message boards as well as online on social media. What the hell do they have to play for? And that was kind of the next phase of questioning for these players with 2 games left in the regular season.
I think it's pride. It's like what I said earlier, whether, if you're a senior, obviously, I think you want to go out on the right note. And if you can pull off a big upset win, whether it's, next week against Alabama at home in your final home game, or going on the road at LSU, one of the toughest places to play in college football, and pulling off a stunner, I think that there's a lot of pride in that. And I think it's also just for young guys like a Jacoby Johnson getting more reps. I mean, we forget that he's still, only a second-year player. Hito Zaida, who we talked to last night too, just a second-year player. Like these guys, these reps mean something to them, and just continuing to get better. And I know that's very cliche to say, but it's true. And I think that we oftentimes forget like the competitiveness in people, yes, the season hasn't gone the way they wanted to. When it comes down to Saturday, though, there's going to be a full belief that they think that they can win the game and that they're going to play hard and that it's going to be competitive and all of those sorts of things. And so I think that while we might not think there's a lot to play for, I'm sure those guys in that locker room take a lot of pride in these final 2 games.
Nobody will do it, and nobody's going to go back and watch the Kent State-Miami, Ohio game last night. Kent State's 0-9. You look at their defenders out there in the fourth quarter, they're down like 24 points. Some people riding out 23.5. But I was like, damn, it's 0-9, and they could give an S about the record. So thought it was pretty cool. Kenny Burns, I don't know. He'd probably get fired at Kent State.
It's also, I think it was Gabe Eichert that said this about, every game is on tape.
Sure.
And if you want to go play in the NFL someday, they're going to look up every game that you play, and especially games like this where you've got
Alabama, LSU, in this conference.
These mean something. Like this, if you want to go play in the NFL, every snap matters. And so I think that is something, too, that these guys understand that.
The question was, what's there left to play for? And here is a number of Oklahoma players that met with the media on Tuesday night.
I mean, obviously, after a loss like that, it's a real heartbreaker. but we played to a standard. So something that happens, obviously you gotta, Sunday you go through it, you relive it, but at the end of the day you gotta flush it and you start preparing for the next week.
It's frustrating. You may have had your best game of the year just from a tackle standpoint. You missed no tackles. I think it's 19. So how do you deal with that when you do everything right and it still doesn't work out for you?
I mean, it'd be the same way if I did everything wrong and it didn't work out. You go right back to the drawing board. You can't just be focused about yourself. At the end of the day, it's a team sport. So it hurts me just as much the next guy when something like that happens. Obviously I played, decent, pretty good enough to win, but it's just at the end of the day it wasn't.
We still got a lot to play for. We got bowl eligibility with these 2 games. We got one more in the Palace, one more in Death Valley, and I think, like I said at the beginning of the year, every game is winnable, and we got the guys to do it, and I think we can. I know we can, and we just got to go out there and win them.
What's it been like this week, just with the bye week and knowing what's coming with Alabama?
It's been, vigorous preparation. We have a big one ahead of us, my last one here. So, a lot of the seniors are really excited, how it should be for a senior night. And so we're trying to get the young guys going, just take advantage of this bye week.
What's been Brent's message maybe to you guys and your leadership group as well, just trying to finish this thing out strong despite how difficult the season's maybe been?
Yeah, obviously, acknowledge, we put a lot of hard work into the season. We've gone in it, we've got out every single day. We put in the effort. Sometimes the rewards aren't there, and that's life. That's the game of football. And obviously, we gotta keep showing up and keep working. Before the light, there's always gonna be darkness.
Who have been some of the, I guess, leaders? Obviously, Danny and Billy, but guys have maybe kept these guys together.
Yeah, Danny, Billy, obviously those guys. A lot of the older guys, some of the young guys like myself, are trying to keep us all together. So yeah, mostly the older guys, but they've been doing a really good job of that, and because you can really see that going into practice, we're all still together, having fun, working together.
I would say it's just for the seniors in general. I wouldn't say it's just for them too, but they are one of those there's those seniors, so it does play a big role. And then I'd also say that not even to finish it out, that was a goal at the beginning of the season. I say was to play for them and for our coaches.
I don't know if anybody takes solace in it, but I know that the Kelly Ford ratings were making their way around Twitter on Thursday morning, and Oklahoma, their schedule. We knew it talking about it in August, but that damn thing, it was a bear. It's been a bear, and that's without Alabama and LSU yet to come.
I think, is it Auburn in conference play? Is Auburn the only unranked team that they've faced?
Yes. Because that was the
That's
final
insane.
game that you were going to play that a team wasn't ranked.
Yeah,
going down there. Just it's
been
incredible.
And you look back at even the South Carolina game, which I think we all thought into the season that's a game that Oklahoma should win.
Sure.
South Carolina, all of a sudden, they're being talked about as a 3-loss playoff team
with a win over Clemson, obviously not in SEC play, but stepping outside to end their season in the Palmetto State, whatever that rivalry. I think it's the Palmetto rivalry. They could go 9-3.
Yeah, and then you got Tulane, who ended up being Oklahoma's best win of the season. They've had a heck of a year.
I know the number that was thrown out there on Tuesday night after the college football rankings. Tulane is a top 25 win for Oklahoma, and it's just ironic. Not saying that they're a better team, but Texas doesn't have one right now.
Exactly,
just how the schedule has worked out. It's insane.
It's crazy.
But all in all, they do have 2 games left, and you might as well give it your all.
Yeah, for sure. I think that we've seen in college football anything can happen.
Sure.
And while on paper, no one's picking Oklahoma against Alabama or LSU, you never know. Alabama's obviously laid some stinkers this year. I think they're playing really good football right
Absolutely.
now. They're going to be really tough to beat. LSU, they've been kind of back and forth this year. I think they're a pretty damn good football team, but just got housed at home against Alabama. I'm interested to see what they do these next couple weeks before Oklahoma comes to town. They got Florida this weekend, is that right?
LSU,
yeah,
and maybe DJ Lagway does play.
Yeah.
Billy Napier talked to he's progressing towards playing after missing last week's game in Austin. We'll see. Who knows?
Yeah. So again, you just never know. That's why you play the game. Because the moment that you think that it's over, and I think we've all accepted that. We won't be making a bowl trip this year. All of a sudden, they're going to somehow win one of these 2 games, and we're going to be like, oh, we're going to Tampa Bay for the Gasparilla Bowl or something.
It sounds like such P words talking about just this season in general, and I don't mean prick. How about that? There are going to be tickets, and we talked about the seniors and showing up to the stadium next Saturday for guys like a Danny Stutzman or a Billy Bowman. Plenty of tickets. All you got to do is visit GameTime. We talked about it all season. Go to gametime.co and or you just use the app, the GameTime app, which
literally
you're going
used
to the
it
Suns
today.
game tomorrow night, right?
Yep,
the
going to
Friday
Thunder's-
night Thunder game.
I just bought tickets, lower level for the Thunder game on Friday night. Super easy to use. You could see where you sit. You're seeing Carrie here scroll through for OU. Same thing for Thunder Arena. All those places. If you want to go to the LNC for a basketball game coming up, super easy to use.
Probably have plenty of seat options to choose from with the Stetson game coming up on Saturday. But nonetheless, it's going to be packed when SEC play starts. All you got to do is download the app, create an account, and use code ON3. That is ON, the number 3, for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Just, again, create an account, get on the GameTime app, create an account, and redeem with the code ON3, ON, number 3, for $20 off. Download GameTime today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. I guess in a way, George, in the season that has been, there's been some good stories, and I think that, like, if you take anything out of the game on Saturday in Columbia, it was Zach Schmidt, and we talked to him on Tuesday. Kind of a cool little redemption story because I think there's a lot of people talking about George that just completely wrote him off, and he's been fantastic since taking over the starting kicking duties.
He's been awesome, and it was yesterday as he was walking out, you and I kind of chatted with him for just a second. Almost, it was basically an apology for me for counting him out. But
he's a great guy.
He's awesome. One of the best talkers on the team. Bishop McGinnis kid, which I won't hold anything against him there, but I mean it's been awesome.
We all go to
him.
Mass together.
Yes, we all go to Mass. We're all Catholics. But no, he's been awesome, man. And you look back and he, loses, I guess, quote unquote, loses the starting kicking job to Tyler Keltner, but then gets his opportunity. He was great against Auburn. Like his heroics late in that game and making that clutch kick was great. And then I think did he have one against Texas? Or is that Keltner against Texas?
Keltner
against
Texas, I believe.
I think it was South Carolina that he had the.
He came in, kicked a 44-yarder against South Carolina, and since then has just been nails.
I mean, and
he's been great on kickoffs as well. And I don't think that's something that's sexy to talk about, but
he's
the guy has a big leg.
Yeah, and then what he did against Missouri. I mean, obviously the 56-yarders, but the other field goals in that game. I mean, he's been lights out, and again, one of those seniors that has kind of stuck it out, and he had every opportunity to leave. Being a local kid, though, I think playing for Oklahoma meant something to him. I think he knew there's going to come an opportunity this year to kick a big field goal, and he's 100% this year. I mean, he has not missed. So it's been awesome, and I know. And but, I mean, to also hear Brent say that they had confidence in him to hit a 62, 63-yarder.
Sure.
I mean, that's crazy. And he was telling us after practice, what did he say, 65?
Yeah.
He feels like he has
feels
the
like
distance.
he's comfortable with that. And, the way
it's crazy.
The way things go in the National Football League, I would imagine that's something he's going to aspire to here at the end of the season. It's been a hell of a redemption story. 12 for 18 in 2022, 15 for 21 in 2023. Had just a career long of 46 going in. Had the 56-yarder against Missouri. He kind of held a little bit of a press opportunity on Wednesday night after practice, and you can check out the entire interview on SoonerScoop.com's editorial page, but I thought it was like one of the better, like more feet on the ground type interviews we've seen from an Oklahoma player in quite some time. Here is kind of a best of the best with Zach Schmidt from Wednesday night.
The past 2 years have been really rough, not only for myself, but for the team. I'm not very a big individual guy with this sport, but for me, the past 2 years, it really hurt myself, knowing how much I dragged the team down a little bit in my own eyes. And so to be able to get back out this year and trust in myself, my preparation, and knowing that I've earned the guys' respect, it's helped me a lot to just have confidence in myself. And it came through this year, I feel like. I've been able to trust in myself, my preparation, and just be able to swing freely.
Outside of that confidence that you mentioned, what's been the difference for you?
Really nothing. It's just the past 2 years I've been trying to place the ball between the uprights, so to speak, and I wasn't really using my technique correctly. I felt like maybe not the pressure, so to speak, but I didn't want to shank a kick, I guess. So this year, I told myself I've got the confidence. I know I have the ability. Just swing for the fences, and it's going to come.
How tough is it? How tough is that switch to maybe go from the struggles you mentioned in the last couple of years, but to still find that confidence in the process? What does that switch look like?
It's about finding the identity. If you put the identity of yourself in this game and you do really bad, then it can just crush you. But if you're able to put your identity in your family, your friends, the type of person you are, your character, then you realize that in the world of it, it's just a really small game. And so that's allowed me to be just free with myself and say, you know what, whatever happens here, I'm good. Everything's okay. I have a plan. God has a plan for me. And that's helped me a ton. I have a path for myself. I know God has a plan for me.
So with everything you've gone through, how nice did that 56-yarder feel?
It was awesome. I've kind of been waiting for a 50-plus yarder my entire career, high school and college. I've missed, I think, 3 in my career here in college, so I've been itching to get one, and I didn't know if that opportunity was going to come. And even before the game, I was telling myself this season, I guess, if I ever were to get a 50-plus yarder, I knew I would have to make it just because they can be so slim. So when I got out there and I got that chance, I knew that I just had to swing for the fences and just trust myself.
What's your relationship with Doug Deacon been like, and how much has he helped you with that kind of confidence?
Coach Deacon's awesome. I mean, he's just a down-to-earth guy, great guy. I mean, he helps out the specialists a ton. Maybe not with our technique, so to speak, but more the mental side, the aspect. Like, that's the toughest part, I think, about being a specialist. Coach Deacon's done a great job. He lets us know that it is okay to make mistakes as a specialist. It is okay to not be perfect. But he also holds us accountable. He makes sure that we know that we have to be focused, attentive in everything. We have meetings all the time to go over technique, to be able to see different things. But, I mean, he's just a great man. Like outside of being a football coach, he's just a great man. He's got 3 young boys. Like, it's awesome being around them, and his wife. He's just an overall great guy, great character.
Really happy for Zach Schmidt. And I remember back talking about him and the kicking competition when they brought Tyler Keltner in coming out of the summer. And this is maybe back in August. And it was like, I think we remember being told by somebody within the program, was like, he's one of the best leaders on the team.
Yeah.
And you roll your eyes and you're like, the kicker? Like, truly? Maybe that was a sign of things to come. I'm not saying they have leadership. That was just a joke. Or leadership problems. But I think you see it right there. Like, he has a lot of respect from his teammates.
Yeah, I mean, I think guys really like him, and look, I think that message that Doug Deacon had, like, you don't have to be perfect, because I do think that sometimes we put these kickers and punters, because we don't see them a lot.
Yeah, hashtag college kickers. I mean,
right.
It's become a thing.
That they have to be absolutely perfect all the time, and that's not the case. Now, could Schmidt obviously been better his first 2 years? Of course.
100%.
You know, missed some
I think
big
he
kicks.
basically said that.
Exactly. But this year, his redemption and the way that he's responded, hats off to him. I mean, he's been awesome, and I hope he gets the chance to kick some more 50-yarders these next couple weeks. I think that'd be awesome. And just to see the celebration, too, when he did hit that one right before half, it makes you also think back, like, man, like, oh, you had all the momentum in that game. But it was pretty cool to see kind of his teammates rally around him in that moment.
Way too much positivity, I would say, for Oklahoma to have to kick 50-yarders. That means they got to move the ball and get into field goal range, I believe is what it is called. So
just get to midfield. He's got the leg for it now.
You might as well now.
Yeah,
I kind of want to see a 65-yarder
It's
now.
funny when he walked out there for the 56-yarder, and they put, I think it was Theo Weiss back there to catch it maybe. I was like, oh, boy.
Yeah, you saw him in the background. That has to, and I was just thinking as we were playing that clip, it's like that has to be one of the more defeating things, is when the coach puts you back there expecting to have that opportunity for, like a long 110-yard return or something, and then it goes through the uprights, and you're like, well, now I kind of look like an idiot back here.
Yeah.
All right, we'll see. Big plans for the bye week.
No, going to the Thunder game, like I said,
Very
tomorrow
nice.
night, thanks to GameTime. Other than that, this weekend, just hanging out, watching some college football. Not the best slate.
No, which usually means
it's going to be really good.
It ends up being the best games, right?
Yeah. Somebody's going to get upset this weekend.
We'll see. We'll see. No Baker this weekend, and I believe no Kyler as well. It's kind of weird that they both have
probably did that.
Both have bye weeks.
Did that for us, I guess.
Maybe they thought.
I guess not for us, because you'd think although you fans
I'd rather
want to
watch. Yeah. I don't know. We'll see. Should be a really good game on Thursday night on Amazon Prime too. So with the battle for the NFC East with Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles, obviously taking on Jaden Daniels, who might end up winning an NFC Rookie of the Year. So, all right, that's it. When we reconvene next week, we will be talking about OU Alabama. Certainly, probably thought this was going to have a little bit more significance, but maybe I guess on the real dark flip side of it, there is going to be some significance on this game in everything that goes with the final 2 games of the regular season. So for George Stoya, I am Eddie Radosevich. We'll see you right back here on the SoonerScoop.com YouTube channel.